Hello, everyone. I wanted to come in here and talk to you guys about the top reasons that I see and the mistakes that business owners and CEOs make when they're setting goals. And there's five main mistakes that I see people make when they're setting their goals for their business. And I really wanted to come on here and let you know the common mistakes I see and why business goals fail and what those common goal setting mistakes are, but then also how to fix failed business goals, right? How to fix them and how to not make those mistakes anymore. So, the um the first mistake I see people make, and I kind of address this in other videos, you'll hear me talk about this, is really a lack of clarity. Or they're they're not clear enough. So I see people just arbitrarily saying, oh, I made this much last year, and so I made 250,000, so I'm going to go for 500,000. It's kind of arbitrary, but it's not clear. Or better example is, I know I want to grow next year. I want to make, and it's going to be easier to run next year. There's not crystal clear things you can picture, a number you can look at. There's none of that. They're very vague, and that's usually an indication you need to do some more work to actually figure out what that clear picture is for you and what that clear definition of success for you is. And it's kind of going to the granular level. I see people say, well, if I hit this income goal, it's great. Or, if I just work less, my goal is just to work less. I'm going to be less stressed next year. They're great goals. Don't get me wrong. I love those goals. They should be goals for everybody. But if they're not crystal clear and there's something you can't tie to it and track, it's going to be really hard to achieve this broad goal. Like I use puzzles. I'm a big puzzle master. Love puzzles. I kind of see every business as a puzzle. Like if you don't have a clear goal, it's like doing a white jigsaw puzzle. No picture, just doing a white jigsaw puzzle. Um, there's no picture. Like it's really hard to put that together, but when you have a clear picture, it's really easy to figure out what piece goes where, right? The second mistake I see people make, and it causes a lot of failed business goals, is you get overly ambitious and you don't put a plan with it, right? It's part of why I launched my Vision to Results planner is to help people give and put a plan to their goals. So first you've got to get clarity and then you got to put a plan to it. So I have seen people set these lofty goals and they're phenomenal, but they don't really set a plan on how to get there, right? They don't break it down into the smaller actionable steps so that they can actually achieve it. It's like going from 250,000 to 500,000 going, I'm going to do it. It's great. I'm behind you. How you going to do it? And a lot of times there's not a clear plan. It's, oh, I'm just going to get more clients and I'm just going to do this, but there's not a defined crystal clear plan on how to do it. And so it's these lofty goals, and people go in headstrong in January, and by March, they're like, oh my God, what am I doing? And things are falling apart, and then they don't know why, and they don't know how to fix it. Well, there was no plan going in with it. And it's cool. Like, listen, we get really excited about our businesses, right? We get really excited, and I get it. I'm excited about every single one that I've started. And I'm excited about this one every darn day. But if you don't put a clear plan around what you're doing and how you want to accomplish it, it's going to be really hard to accomplish, right? Third mistake that I see a lot of people make is you have a lack of accountability, okay? There's no one holding you to these goals that you're setting. whether it's external support, whether it's internal support. Quite frankly, internal support works, external support is even better. Having someone outside looking in that you share your goals with and you share your plan with, they can tap you on the shoulder and go, "Hey, hey, did you forget about that? What do you do? Are we going towards this?" It brings you back into focus because here's what happens. As a business owner, as a CEO, and I do it myself in my own business. I have my own accountability partners and coaches and mentors that help keep me on track. But because we get down in the dirty in our business and we get so hyper focused on whether it's working on our marketing or client delivery or whatever the case may be, and we get in here and then we forget about these other goals and these other things that we said we'd do. And it doesn't mean we're not excited about them, but lots of stuff happens on a daily basis, right? So having those accountability partners and those coaches and those mentors that help keep you on track, that help you track it and help you pivot when you need to pivot are key to reaching your goals. The fourth thing I see is there's inconsistent progress tracking. So they use, I've seen people start out tracking and then they kind of fade off and don't track anymore. Or they don't start with clear tracking, and then about February, they realize they need to be tracking what they started in January, and then they set out to catch up, and then they forget to keep it up. And so it's very inconsistent, and it's very hard to analyze, and it's hard to pivot, and it's hard to realign those goals mid-year or later in the year, or even know where the hell you're at, right? If you track the small, the daily, the weekly, the monthly, if you track all of that and get in that habit, and you can have help if you've got a team, you have them help you track certain pieces, but when you when you track those small things, it actually forces you to keep yourself accountable because you have to track it, right? And it builds momentum. At the end of the week, you're like, "Yes, I did all of that and I made those goals. Yes." And you go into the next week with that momentum and keeping that energetic alignment with what you're doing. And the last mistake and thing that I see people make, and this bothers me, is their misaligned goals. Talk about this in another video, but in my framework. But they're goals that other people think they should set, or they're goals that you feel pressured to set, but your intention really isn't behind it. They're not really aligned with you. Okay. So I've seen people set goals. I had one that came to me last year, and it became clear through our work together where some of these motivations came from. And it was a lot of what she thought she needed to do just because she achieved something. It was like the next level. Ladies out there, if you've ever been pressured, like, "Oh, well, you got married, now you have to have kids." It's like this progression that you're just supposed to do. What if you don't feel aligned to that next progression? What if that really doesn't feel right to you? So it's really awkward when people ask you that question, just because let's say maybe you've achieved 250,000 and those close to you is like, "That's great. You should go for 500,000 this year." That's awesome if you want to, but you need to make sure it's really aligned to what you want to do. And I see time and time again people setting goals for the wrong reasons and setting goals that aren't actually aligned to them. It's putting them and working in a way that they're not meant to do. It's making them do things, either slave away on social media, and maybe they aren't designed to do that. Remember, I use human design in all of my work, and there's ways to know how you work. And some of these goals that people are setting are the complete opposite of how they're designed to even work and be. So it's going to make it that much harder to achieve that goal. And most likely you aren't, because it's not who you are, it's not designed for you, etc. So that's part of why I shared my framework, what I do, what I use with my clients is in my Vision to Results Planner. Grab your copy below. We've got the link below. And to set these goals and make sure they are aligned with you and what's blocking you from getting where you want to go, schedule your free vision to action call with me. It is one-on-one with me. It is 45 minutes. I'm going to identify very, very quickly the top 2 to 3 things that are either standing in your way or that you need to focus on to get you where you want to go. We're going to cut out the noise. We're going to get you the clarity, and we're going to get you on your way in 2025. So I look forward to, I cleared more room on my calendar, but these spots are still limited. So grab yours now so that you can get started with 2025 and not make these costly mistakes. I look forward to seeing you all later.